Do you think name actors are scared to be a part of horror films?
It's a cliche. I don't think they're scared. I think if you give them a good, meaty role, and if they like you, I think they're not gonna be scared. No, I think, and because a lot of people's careers got reinvented that way, I don't think they are as scared. We worked with name actors like Steve Railsback and interesting people, and they were never snobby about that. It's more about the part, and they just want to make sure that you are serious about what you're doing, and you do kind of have to prove yourself to them, which is fine if you know what you're doing and you have a plan and you share that with them. But other than that, frankly, we worked with most of name actors we work with. They were frankly super cool and friendly and professional, and sometimes, of course, people get a bit strange about promoting the movie, or you do tend to have some issues here and there, but that's the nature of the beast, and you're just gonna have to take what's good about the experience and move on. And more important, if it's for me, what's more important is that they do a great job with their part and they give you 100%, and in most cases they give you 100% and some. So
what do you think about a director or a filmmaker's requirements that an actor be part of the promotion?
I like that. I mean, I don't think it should be like such a requirement that should be necessarily in the contract or something. I think, and it's something I'm dealing with, and I've been dealing with for a while, I think it should be more like a team effort. Because this is not just my baby, it's everybody's baby. We all put a lot of work into it. And I think we should try to promote it as much as possible and work together on that. And sometimes people tend to move on too fast and they kind of just leave you and the movie behind. And that's something as a producers we kind of have to live with. It's kind of sad and sometimes it's disappointing, but it happens all the time.
What advice would you give to Josephina back in 2001 about filmmaking versus now?
To be less stressed about everything in general, and not overthink so much everything. That would be number one. But in the same time, looking back, it's just kind of like, hard to think and say, hey, how I would have done things now, because, it's kind of too late. But mostly I would say just stress less.
What makes you pass on a project?
I don't pass so much on projects because we initiate them, so it's a bit different for us. But if people bring things to me, I just have to be very passionate about something in order to do it, and I have to feel like I'm putting not my entire voice there, but because I make movies with Brad, I always have an input, a voice, some creative control, and it's a very collaborative process. So if I can't have that, then for me, it's just not interesting. I'm not just there to create a mechanic for somebody just to make their own movie, It's just kind of like I have to be involved creatively on some level or feel like that's my baby too.
What do you do that this is what I do best, and then the other things, I know this is what Brad does best, and that's how you make it work?
It depends on each situation, but yeah, there are things that, I know he's better than I am at. First of all, when he directs, I'm not getting involved in his shot list. He can consult with me and I can offer him opinions, but I'm not gonna be on set over his shoulder to tell him to redo a take or try to get a different performance from an actor. That's his thing, and I totally trust him. And I think you should trust people, because if you're gonna micromanage everything, everybody's gonna get nervous around you, and they're not gonna give you the 100%. And there are things that he's better, sometimes some creative things like finding titles for movies, sometimes conceptual things, and sometimes promotional things he's better than me. And, we know when to step back and just let the other person do that. And also, it's the same with other collaborators that, different people that we work with. I think everybody needs some guidance, but once you've done that, just, let them create and give them a chance to do something, and then go from there. I think if you let people have some input, they're gonna, most of the time, come up with something cool and interesting that you're gonna like.
How does your process work with Brad? When you say most of your projects are like, sort of like self-driven, or they come from the two of you. What is it? You see something in the news, you have an idea. How does it work?
It's so different each time. Sometimes it could be, something we get inspired from going out, to a concert or to a museum or something, an idea, or something that stays with you for a while. I know I want to make a movie about, but I'm not, blah, 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 but I'm not sure. So I'm going to, we're taking our time to come up with ideas. It's different each time. It's not, every project is different. It starts in a different way. It can come from him, or it can come from me, and we just talk and discuss, and that's kind of how it always starts with a conversation, and go from there, see who's going to write the script, or he's going to write on his own, or I'm going to be involved, or because I think speaking of who's better with certain things than others, we know that, so you have to be honest with yourself, and just discuss that, and start like that.
Well, you just finished an anthology film, is that right? So then how did that begin?
It began with High 8. High Death is a sequel of High 8. High 8 is horror. It's a horror anthology, horror independent 8. So we had 8 interesting, indie filmmakers that contributed to a segment to the anthology. What happened was Brad actually met different filmmakers in a Facebook group, and everybody was complaining, like I was saying, about lack of freedom, and they're kind of tired of dealing with different investors and distributors and different conditions, and they're like, it used to be fun when we're making movies when we're kids and just running around with a camera with our friends and doing that. So they're like, well, why don't we do that now? And they're circulating this idea of this title. High 8 started with a title, more like based on the format, because back in the day they were shooting on High 8 format. So Brad came to me and he was like, would you like to do that? And I thought it's just cool and fresh and different, and we've never done that before. And I was like, yeah, let's figure out a way to do this, because it's complicated. You're dealing with people you never met before that live in different parts in US, and everybody has their own personality, but let's try to do that. And just that happened really fast. We got all these directors on board, and everything moved on fast, and it was fun and cool, and it was going back and just making movies with your friends. Only this time around you have more professional experience, so you apply certain rules, and you have contracts. You're a professional, so you do it like that. And that was a fun, well-received project, played different festivals and got good reviews, so we decided to do the sequel. And for the sequel, like I said, Brad is usually coming up with titles, but this time around it was my idea. High Death, it was my idea, because we're thinking to graduate to a different format, to HD. So we're trying to figure out a title, and it just kind of came to me because it's like High Def, it's HD, and it's Def, and it's it's kind of like the theme that we're going to be using for this anthology, which that's what we did. Each segment has a theme, which is Def. So every filmmaker explores the theme of the death in their segment, It's just more a creative way to unify all the pieces, but everybody is doing something different because once again they have creative freedom. And we do look at their scripts before they start shooting and everything, but we, like I said, we don't interfere with that. It's more for us to know, it's like an excitement to see what everybody's doing, and also to make sure that we don't repeat certain ideas or concepts, or not everybody's doing a segment with zombies or something like that. But other than that, and that never happened, everybody's coming up with cool original things, because what's fun about these segments, all the filmmakers are coming up with ideas that they can't use in like a longer format, like a feature, but they're cool and fun to explore, you know, for like 10-minute or 15-minute segment or 20-minute segment. So it's just interesting for people to experiment, because, you know, some of these filmmakers, their fans, they have fans, and their fans know them for, you know, slashers or zombie movies or whatever, but they want to do something different, and they want to explore things that they haven't done before, and this is the perfect way to do that.
How did you receive submissions for those scripts? Like, where did you put the call out? Was it on this Facebook group? Or?
No, basically we do choose the filmmakers we want to work with. So we go to them first and we ask them, hey, do you want to be a part of that? And if they accept that, we tell them, hey, these are our rules. And then they send us the script once they have an idea. We have some deadlines, but, you know, like I said, it's not written in stone, because people do make other movies and we try to work around their schedules. And also, it's good not to rush people, so they have a bit of time to come up with something interesting. And they send us the scripts after, basically, we invite them to, you know, join the anthology. First time around we had 8 filmmakers, and second time around we had 5, because the segments were longer. Yeah, everybody works with the same kind of budget. It's not a lot, but here it's more about doing what they want to do.
How long were the scripts that they were sending? You said it was 15-minute segments?
Yeah, so it's kind of like 15 pages or something around there. You know, it's interesting because everybody works differently. Like sometimes we dealt with like a filmmaker who just doesn't write scripts, just sends you a segment. It's kind of like a concept, it's like a synopsis. And we don't work like that. We just always have scripts and, you know, shot lists, and he doesn't do that. He just takes the concept and goes on set, shows it to the actors, and they improvise. And that's something interesting for us. We're like, well, we give people creative freedom. We just need to step back and just let them do that. And of course, it's nerve-wracking because you hope he's gonna actually do that. But, you know, he did, and it was great and fun. And just kind of have to trust people even if they don't work the same way you do. So that's something we kind of learn, to step back and, you know, give it a shot. That's why, you know, we don't have big budgets, because, you know, you don't know what's going to happen.